Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Two of Hollywood's biggest stars are now facing one of the biggest legal battles of their careers. A massive $400 million lawsuit looms over them. And today, the judge did not rule in their favor. Lively's once flawless reputation is crumbling, all stemming from her disastrous marketing of It Ends. With us, fans were outraged when she promoted the film like a lighthearted romance, rather than the dark, emotional story about domestic abuse it truly is. Instead of addressing the backlash, Lively doubled down, using the moment to plug her hair care line, alcohol brand, and fashion choices that misstep has now spiraled into two explosive lawsuits. Lively is suing director Justin Baldoni and his production company Wayfair Studios for $250 million alleged in a hostile and toxic work environment during filming. She claims Baldwin's team smeared her reputation and targeted her with misconduct. But Baldoni isn't backing down. He's countersuing for $400 million, arguing that Lively and Ryan conspired to take control of it. Starts with us the highly anticipated sequel, The Courtroom Battle. It's already messy. Today's fight was over a gag order with Lively's legal team trying to silence Baldwin's powerhouse attorney, Brian Fredman. But the judge denied. Freed argued that Lively leaked confidential legal documents to the New York Times, which published a bombshell exposed that tanked Baldwin's career. He lost his agent, podcast, and future projects, while Lively walked away unscathed. Now, Baldwin's camp is going on the offensive. They've launched a website packed with evidence, including timelines, text messages, emails, and videos that paint Lively as a master manipulator. The documents suggest she used false allegations to take over the movie and pined the backlash over her own marketing missteps on Baldoni. Lively's critics are calling her narcissistic and calculated, arguing that whenever things don't go her way, she retaliates. And today's ruling not in her favor. Federal judges rarely approve gag orders, and today was no exception. Lively's team pushed hard to silence Fredman, but Judge Louis Lyman refused, stating that the press has a right to public record. The stakes couldn't be higher. Baldwin's team claims he's lost hundreds of millions due to Lively's allegations accusing her of collaborating with the media to push a false narrative. Court filings even include damning receipts and video proof contradicting her claims in interviews. Lively has slipped up multiple times, openly admitting that she took over editing, writing, wardrobe, and marketing, effectively seizing control of Baldwin's film. And now the trial could happen sooner than expected if tensions keep escalating. The judge may move up the court date, pushing it forward from March 2026. Meanwhile, Lively is fighting to avoid being deposed by Fred, claiming she doesn't feel comfortable being questioned by an attorney she says has defamed her character for someone who's built her brand as a fearless Hollywood powerhouse. Suddenly trying to avoid a deposition raises a lot of red flags. And if the evidence keeps stacking up against her, this case might not just cost her millions, it could shatter her career for good. Blake Lively's legal strategy just took another major hit. She tried to block Baldwin's attorney, Brian Fredman, from questioning her, a move that had the courtroom raising eyebrows in federal court. You don't get to pick who deposes you. Sure, you can request accommodations, but demanding the court ban an attorney, that's almost laughable, and the judge made it clear she doesn't get special treatment. If she wants to fight this case, she'll have to face the tough questions whether she likes it or not. This was another huge loss cost for Lively in court. Not only was her gag order request denied, but Fredman is 100% allowed to depose her, no exceptions, even though Lively is playing offense with her lawsuit. She's also a co-defendant in Baldwin's counterclaim, which means she doesn't get to call the shots. What's unfolding feels like a David versus Goliath showdown. Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios, a smaller production company, are fighting against Lively and Reynolds, two of Hollywood's biggest names, and many believe Lively and her team have been using their power to strong-arm their way through this case. Let's be real, not every woman tells the truth and not every man is the villain. Lively's inconsistencies and contradictions are piling up, and there's now video proof of her admitting that she took over the film's production despite never being hired as a writer, director, or producer. She was only an actress with a vanity executive producer title. But that didn't stop her from seizing control. According to Boney and Wayfair Studios, she bulldozed her way in, made unauthorized changes, and took over the creative process. And now there's footage of her admitting it herself. She rewrote scenes, scrapped wardrobe choices, and made executive decisions like she owned the movie. Lively ditched the studio-approved costume. Lively ditched the studio-approved costumes, hired her own stylist, and ran up the budget by $500,000 for wardrobe alone. But it didn't stop there. She brought in her own composer and editor, someone with zero film editing experience, whose biggest credit was a Taylor Swift music video. The most shocking part? She took a rough cut of the movie without permission and screened it at Colleen Hoover's book event, ignoring Sony and Wayfarer Studios' warnings. Unauthorized screenings can ruin a film's success, but Lively didn't seem to care. Despite claiming she had no control, Lively allegedly had Baldoni's name removed from promotional materials, sidelined him at events, and forced him off the red carpet. She even pressured Baldoni's team to release a public apology to cover up her PR disaster. When they refused, Lively and Reynolds hit them with a lawsuit. Now, court documents suggest Lively was already working with the New York Times to frame Baldoni as the villain. The plan was simple: manipulate public perception and shift the blame. But as more evidence piles up, her case is crumbling fast. Is this the end of Blake Lively's career? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.